this is FantasyEsque, and welcome back to The Sims 4 Vampire Amazon with the Salazar Coven. Before we begin, I want to say a very special welcome to my channel members. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it immensely. We are picking up right where we left off at the Dragonarium with Lady Soul, our champion, and her loyal, faithful men. So she was trying to tell them what had happened to Antonio in the previous episode, and they felt it was a big deal to believe something against their, beloved queen, their powerful queen, without any proper proof. But again, they do trust Soul quite a bit because she is their commander in a way. Well, not the commander. Antonio's the commander. She's their general of sorts, captain, if you want. So she's high up in the army, and everyone reports back to her, like essentially. And Soul's the one who reports to the queen, right? So the men have a closer relationship with Soul than they do with the monarch. So she led a small team of her loyal men, excluding Edward Savage, because he is his name Edward? I hope his name's Edward. Maybe it's Edmund. I don't know. Ed Savage. Um, she did not include him because he is being quite loyal to Zelda and Wisteria in terms of the instructions he's received. So he's over at the Shadow Lair, and she led a small team into the Dragonarium to show them what had become of their beloved commander Antonio, and everyone was shocked when they saw what he had been transformed into, a demonic vampire. So now that the revelation is out of the way, Soul is trying to come up with a plan of what to do with her men. And as crazy as it sounds, I think with all of these guys on the same page, she's gonna talk about the Salazar army. She's gonna go ahead, um, and she's gonna plan a revolt, guys. Soul has decided that they cannot sit still. They must save themselves and the entire army from this. So she's going ahead, she's letting them know that we must revolt against this, and Wendell at least seems very excited about it. See, Lady Soul Ranarine makes the Salazar army the only place I want to be. So, in translation, he's saying, if you're gonna go through with this, I'm not gonna leave your side. I'm gonna help you till the very end. So, I think all of these men would be happy to help her. Don't resign. Don't resign from the army. Talk to them about the army. There we go. So she's kind of not extracting promises of loyalty, just making sure everyone is prepared to do what needs to be done for them to be able to save their comrades. Because, see, look! Lady Soul Ranarain just keeps making the Salazar army better and better. Yeah, why would you want to go back? Why would you want to go back to the terrible, terrible ancient ways where the men were treated like crap, and also where they were disposable figures, you know? They were expendable. Soul's the first vampire that's come along, the first vampirist that's made these males feel as though they are important members of an entity. They're not expendable and their lives matter. So they're going to help her out as best they can. Obviously, Soul hasn't worked out the specifics at this point, but she's talking to all of them here, and they know that the current queen, as is, unfortunately, is getting a little bit over the top. First, she used the army to kill off the ambassadors, and the army is useful to her now, but what next? She's going to turn them all into demons, and what if she can't control the demons? There are all bigger questions that need to be thought about, and the men, they're on her side, but they're also thinking, well, we can't just leave we can't leave a power vacuum, essentially. What's going to happen if we take down Queen Wisteria? And then Soul is proposing to them, well, if we take down Wisteria, we could push Zelda, Lady Zelda, to become the next monarch. And yes, Zelda is the one who actually did the ritual on Antonio to turn him into that demonic vampire, but it was all under the instructions of Queen Wisteria, right? Even though Zelda and Wisteria are twins and sisters, Zelda is still a subordinate of Wisteria, so she must follow what the Queen says, and that's what the Queen decreed, so it was the direction she took. Soul is gonna have to talk to Zelda and convince Zelda that her loyal men, they're ready to take a stand if Zelda agrees to take the mantle of leadership in this quest of theirs once Wisteria has been put down. That's going to be of importance to these guys because they need someone who's going to take care of them afterwards. They need someone who's going to fill that space if Wisteria is dealt with. So that's Soul's job for now. She needs to find a time and place to bring the men and Zelda together so that Zelda can be introduced to this idea that they want her as the next queen, and that they plan to take down Wisteria so that she can stop all of her evil machinations. Um, but Soul is gonna have to wait on that. She can't. She all of this has progressed so quickly with her investigating Antonio, discovering his state, getting the soldiers together, convincing them that they have to revolt against the queen. All of this has happened so quick that she needs some time because the last time she spoke to Zelda, Zelda's attitude was more like, well, just forget about it. Leave it be. You can't do anything. The queen's in charge. Obviously, Zelda hasn't thought about turning against her sister, but will she be the same if, she has already an army that's ready to fight for her? I don't know. We don't know yet. So Soul's gonna wait because tomorrow we actually have the twin birthdays of Galaxia and Saphyra. They're going to be aging up into young adults, into immortals. So that is a huge, huge deal. And I think Soul is wanting to wait until after the twins have aged up because all of Zelda's attention is going to be on her daughters. And I don't think Zelda is going to be like receptive in the slightest to anything like this. It's going to jeopardize her daughters. So once this is out of the way, they've turned into immortals. In a way, they'll be a little bit stronger and able to defend themselves. Zelda might feel a bit more strongly about potentially being on Soul's side in this quest that she has going on, in this revolt. So yeah, we've got rebate date, doesn't really matter, I'll get rid of that. And then we have the mentorship, but we have space after the birthday of the twins for Soul to maybe reach out to Zelda away from Willow Creek potentially, and see what can be done. So I'm gonna let Soul return to. She needs to disperse her men. They need to return to their respective places. She needs to go back to the castle, and we need to prepare for the birthday of Galaxia and Saphyra. So it's almost 12 p.m. on Sunday. The Coven is already in the Grand Library to celebrate the birthday of our dragon twins. We did celebrate Princess Aphrodite's birthday here as well, but I like this space. It's like a Beauty and the Beast library, and we don't nearly spend enough time in it, so that's exactly what we are going to do. Siri is sitting over here by the fireplace with her cousin Aphrodite. Oh, that's so cute. So, so cute. But I'm excited because we are going to see the final traits of Galaxia and Saphyra. We'll get to see whether they are going to be a force of good or evil when they grow up. They had a very, very questionable group of idols growing up, people to look up to because their queen is flippin' evil, their aunt is evil, their mother is absolutely mean, and I always had this idea of Lady Zelda being kind of like a disciplinarian or a governess, going ahead and telling the children, no, this is the way to be proper, you must be proper, and such, which sometimes she has, but I feel like they've been largely relaxed with their kids. And funnily enough, the youngsters, even though they're growing up in a castle and in a time where their parents are constantly squabbling. Wisteria and Zelda haven't always seen eye to eye, and there's always someone in the castle who's not getting along, at least in the latter half of Wisteria's rule. In the beginning, everything was grand and lala, but after the ambassadors' deaths, I feel as though there have been a lot more like friendships breaking off or mini factions in the royal court and all of that. So the youngsters, they've grown up seeing a lot of this, but at the same time, they've been kept away from the dark parts of the queen's reign. They weren't privy to the fact ambassadors were murdered and how they were murdered exactly. They that was kept away from them, and for a lot of Wisteria's reign, they were at the creature cradle, which was, you know, the cozy, cocooned sort of place in their ancient homeland, and then they moved here when everything was better, so to speak. Not only that, but they have grown up in a time of abundance. I mean, Wisteria and Zelda, they've given the youngsters everything they could have ever asked for. And in a way, I feel as though it has made them soft. They're also, amongst their own generation, very united and close together because they are all related. They're all cousins. So I wonder how this is all going to affect Saphyra and Galaxia. Are they going to become a tougher and more like their parents as they get older? They'll start realizing and acknowledging truths that they didn't before, or are they going to stay in this bubble of theirs that the vampire queendom is a wonderful, wonderful place of light and everything's going to be great all the time? I don't know. I don't know. Let's go ahead and get Galaxia to blow out the candles first, and then we'll go to Saphyra. So let's not waste any time. Also, I find this the cutest that these twins, I think they're actually, yeah, look at that. Look at that. They are the closest to each other out of all all of the vampires in the coven, and that's super sweet because I remember when when Zelda and Wisteria were teenagers, I don't think they were that close. I don't think they were nearly as close as these guys. They were almost rivals growing up because they were always competing with each other even as teens. So it's nice to see the dragon twins being different already from their predecessors in that regard. And look, Galaxia already wants to be funny with Saphyra. Oh, that's so cute. So let's go ahead, Galaxia, you're gonna blow out the candles. Let's blow out the candles. I'm so excited. And see what she's gonna become. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. And that's so sweet because Galaxia, she is a lonesome vampire. She grew up into a teen being a bit of a loner. So she didn't want to hang out as much with her cousins and the other kids, but despite that, her bond with her sister has been very, very strong. And I appreciate it a lot. So we're gonna go ahead, randomize her trait, and if I feel like it fits, we'll keep. I almost always keep the first trait, but there are certain traits that we've had in the past that I just don't see our Sims using as much, so I'm gonna now actively kind of start ignoring it or rolling again. Like the Child of the Ocean, Child of the Islands, all of those kind of things. I've tried to tie it into the thematic stuff, but we don't interact with them nearly as much, so it feels almost like a wasted trait. But let's see. Galaxia over here, she is our priestess in line. Some of you made an interesting comment saying that if we were going by just traits alone, Galaxia would probably be the next champion in line and Saphyra would be the next priestess in line. But in our series, those roles are determined by blood. So as the oldest child of Zelda, Galaxia is going to become the priestess. Her youngest sister Saphyra is going to become the next champion because Lady Soul does not have a daughter to take on that role. And then their younger sister, Ciri Dragon, she is going to become the next broodmother because Lady Rowan does not have anyone to take on her role. So that's kind of how things are going. Let's roll and animal enthusiast. Animal enthusiast. That's kind of intriguing to me. That is very intriguing to me because it's kind kind of strange. It's the first time we will have gotten this trait ever because it came with the newer Cottage Living pack. Huh. I'm wondering. She is a priest. Actually, that would suit. You know why? I think this. I'm wondering if this is specific to the llamas and the cows and the chickens. I'm wondering if it's specific to that. But even story wise, I can see it working well with the fact that the priestess kind of has this bond with the dragons, and we might at some point add some more creatures to the dragonarium. So we might put in like llamas and cows and chickens. We might do that in the dragonarium. So I kind of like the idea that she's very attached to like life's magical source, and very she likes drawing her power. She draws her power, a lot of her power from these magical creatures that live, in the abode that she's created, live in a nature sort of setting. So it's kind of cool. I think I'm happy for that. I feel like it goes very well with her being adventurous, and seeking out new, unique magics per se. And with her being a loner, it also makes sense to me that she prefers the company of animals to people. So, okay, Galaxia. Okay, we can do that. We can do that. And there she goes, our fabulous immortal. She's now an immortal, guys. She's an immortal. She's never gonna age. Okay, and now it's her sister's turn. Saphyra, let's get you to blow out the candles and see what you are going to be like. What are you going to be like, honey? I am very fascinated to find out. Let's see. And here she goes. Oh, this is such a happy occasion. So she ended up being a maker. She was, I think, a goofball as a child. So someone who's very playful, someone who's very approachable, and a maker. So she's a tad bit creative. She likes things like fabricating we're ignoring, but candle making, juice fizzing, woodworking, all of the practical stuff. So she's a very handsy person. So I mean, yeah, she would have totally. If we had to go by traits, we would actually swap the twins in terms of the roles they get. But that's not how it works with us. Okay, let's roll and see what she's gonna get. Guys, she hates children, and that trait is back. I'm gonna keep it though. I love it. I'm gonna keep it. So it looks as though one of the twins is going to hopefully continue her line, and the other twin isn't going to. This is okay though, you know why? Because we have three of Zelda's daughters who are going to be the next generation. So this trait can almost serve as a way to cull their numbers so that we're not completely overtaken by the Salazars and their cadet branch. It'll give the others a chance to have their own children, but that's interesting. It's almost as if the Scholar line, not the Scholar line, the Champion line is cursed because I mean, Sol unfortunately could not have a daughter, even though she tried. She ended up having two sets of twins, and they were boys. And then the next champion in line, Saphyra, hates children. She doesn't want to have children, so she's not going to ever breed. That's kind of cool. I love it. Okay, excellent. Excellent. So yeah, she does not like youngsters. I wonder if she's going to. What was that? Yeah. Oh, does that mean she's not gonna like her younger sister? This might damage her relationship with her younger sister Siri because she suddenly doesn't like children. Maybe as she is growing up and now that she is an immortal, suddenly Saphyra, I think of like because of how different their roles are to their personalities, like what their roles demand from them, because it's so different to their personalities, I think there would be a certain amount of pressure that would be building up for Saphyra in particular, because Saphyra, she's descended from a priestess line, but suddenly she's being forced to be a champion. That's what the queen demands of her, forcing her to be a champion. That's what her mother expects of her. Even though she's more inclined to be a priestess, there would be this pressure that she most likely would have been putting off as a teenager, but now that she's an immortal, she feels her vampiric powers a lot more than she did when she was younger. I think maybe that pressure would influence her behavior, and she would think that children are ridiculous, and that part of it would be because when she was younger, she didn't understand the burden she had on her shoulders, to be the next champion in line. And I think now it's almost as though I don't have time for my younger sibling. I don't have time for, because she's the younger twin, right? I don't have time for Syria. I don't have time for children. They're childish. They don't understand the pressures of the world and the things we have to get done. So it's almost like she's adulting way too hard, way too fast. So I kind of like that. I kind of like that. I'm gonna go ahead and turn autonomy to full, and we are going to see what their birthday wishes are. So I want this planting plasma fruit ones. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, we ignore this all the time. We ignore that all the time because it's from the trait, the lot trait that we have. Oh, come on. Give me something I can actually do. Give me something I can actually do. Oh, she wants to be mean to a child. So that means the first thing she wants to do after becoming an immortal, or her birthday wish, is to put her younger sister Siri in place, um, and kind of have that distance that I'm an immortal now. I don't have time for silly things that children do. It's like it makes sense because she was a goofball, so she was very carefree when she was young. And then suddenly she's gone, like, and then when she was a teenager, she became a maker, so she was pursuing her creative side. She probably thought she could still make this champion thing her own, but now that she's an immortal, suddenly she's changed and switched, and it's been like, no, I haven't been serious enough. I need to get more tough. I need to take my role seriously. I have a huge responsibility ahead of me and all these kind of things. So that's what she wants to do. As for Galaxia, her birthday wish is to be funny with Saphyra, so reinforcing those bonds that the twins have with each other. So sweet. Let's go ahead and do exactly that. And poor Siri, she wants to go. She's like has to pee and everything. Um, but her sister's gonna come and be like really mean to her. Scold. We're gonna scold her. Sapphira's gonna scold Siri. Um, for whatever reason. For whatever heckin' reason. I feel so bad for Siri. They've had a really good relationship thus far as well, but what can we do? Suddenly, she switched, and that's the way she switched. Oh, Siri, I hope this doesn't damage your relationship too much. Please don't. Please don't. And Siri has some time before she ages up. Like, she's got time. She ages up here. So, their relationship could go from friendly to disastrous in that period, depending. And oh, she peed herself! Oh, goodness. I mean, she was going to the restroom, and then Sapphira wanted to scold her, and then she peed herself. Poor child. Okay, Galaxia wants to be funny with Sapphira. So let's go ahead and make a vampire pun. Let's go do that. Nope. Let's go ahead and make a vampire pun. There we go. At least, I mean, yeah. I don't think Sapphira is mean. She's never been mean. I think it's just towards children because of that. It's almost like hit her in the face now that she's an immortal. What's expected of her. Aww. Lord Art came by to give someone a special gift. I wonder who he's giving the gift to. Art, where'd you go? Okay, he is here. Can we get Oriana maybe to invite him in? I don't know who this gift is for, but since she is married to Art, Art is her husband, she is going to go down and invite him in. I'm not entirely sure who the gift is for. Oh, what's a vampire's favorite drink? Dracola. That's funny. Who are you giving the present to? Who is he gifting it to? He's not going upstairs. Is it to Wisteria? Wisteria or Yuki, maybe? I don't know who is giving a gift to. Who is this for, Art? Is it for the queen, maybe? Or is it for your daughter? Oh, it's for Yuki! Well, that's sweet. That's Yuki's father. So that's really adorable. What'd you get, Yuki? That's so nice. Her father came to give her a present. Oh, he just came to give her a faux meat cube. He's like, are you struggling? Are you struggling with the food? A lack of blood. Here you go. Here's a faux meat cube. Okay, well, that's great. But I think we are good to wrap up the episode here. Yep, okay, they've spoken. Now, tomorrow, I'm thinking tomorrow's videos, I'm gonna do Galaxia's makeover in the morning, and then I'll do Saphyra's makeover in the afternoon. So I'll have 2 cast videos coming out tomorrow for Galaxia and Saphyra. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But with all of that said and done, I'm going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.